we're finally here at the big delays going on with the COVID pandemic and the comic industry stopping itself. We are finally here with Empyre, aka the Kree-Skrull War that has finally ended and has unified into the mightiest empire in the entire universe of the Marvel universe. Sorry. But yeah, this event has been building up since last year. Though you do gotta wonder, Marvel has to stop doing these big events every 6 seconds. Like last year was War of the Kings, Absolute Carnage. That's two big mega events in 1 year. Now it's Empyre, and they've already announced that they're going to do another event heading into next year called Null or something, Emperor Null, another cosmic Venom symbiote adventure, I believe. But yeah, you see the problem here. Like Empyre, if they had stopped with War of the Kings, did not make any more event comics, and built more up to this would be more of a big deal because this is the unification of the Kree-Skrull, you know, the species that have been at war constantly for eons upon eons, also known as 20, 30 years in Marvel Comics. But they don't do that. They instead say, hey, let's go ahead and promote this event while we're already doing two events at the same time, because we're kind of stupid like that. We're not the House of Ideas. We're the House of Events. So, yeah, I got the standard version of the Empyre comic, and beautiful artwork here. Sadly, the artist of the cover is not the artist of this event, tragically. But, yeah. This is the big event that features the Kree-Skrull Alliance and the Avengers and Fantastic Four, and how it will be the earth-shattering event of the Marvel Universe, and how everything is going to change for like the 80th time in the last 3 years. Yeah, you see the problem here. So yeah, So we get the roster lineup: the Avengers, Fantastic Four, Kree-Skrull Alliance, the Kotati. You know, those plant people that are certainly not going to do anything crazy at all. But yeah, they got the introductions and the synopsis. After years of conflict, the Kree-Skrull Empire suddenly united under the leadership of Emperor Dork the Eighth, the young Avenger and Kree-Skrull hybrid known as Hulkling. His first act as Emperor was to order all the combined forces to Earth to defeat their mutual enemy, the plant-like race known as the Kotati. Meanwhile, the remaining Kotati, after being nearly wiped out of existence by the Kree, have been revegetating the blue area of the Earth's moon, leading to Kotati's efforts on Kura, the prophesied celestial Messiah, and his father, the Swordsman. Facing annihilation, they summoned their former allies, the Avengers, to the moon. Meanwhile, the Fantastic Four were heading home from a mission in space that wasn't certainly about promoting child gambling when they tried to came across the Kree-Skrull Armada en route to Earth. Reed Richards, Thought Journal, entry 4/4/2020. So they're also in the midst of a pandemic, gotcha. Our latest family outing has taken yet another fascinating turn. Yes, and surprisingly, it wasn't my fault this time. Enlighten me here, Stretch. Is this revolting development, or ain't it? Ben, old friend? That's an excellent question. Yes, Ben, you have been known for questions. The militarist Kree Imperium has been in conflict with our old enemies, the Skrulls, for millennium. Now we learn that the war is over at last. The Kree-Skrulls have allied. That's the good news. The bad news is that their heavily armed war fleet is heading towards Earth, and we have no idea why. A heavily armed fleet, the pissed off history of the Kree-Skrull with the Avengers. Do you think there's a connection? Meanwhile, Johnny Storm says, is it? Those guys don't look super invading to you? Hey, maybe they're bringing Earth to a nice fruit basket. Here's my problem. If we want to look into this, it ain't just us. We got the kids to consider. Yes, the children. We found Jorvin and Nakala fighting in an arena for the amusement of the baying crowd. Even now they're sizing each other up for the next battle. They can't even process the idea of peace. Yes, and they're certainly not going to be a couple. Not going to have a childish romantic attitude towards each other. Like that would be insane. However, Reese says that they don't know it yet, but they can. Susan just says, whatever, this is Reed. Those two have seen enough fighting. Agreed. Franklin, Val, I'm going to need you to escort our new friends home in the escape shuttle. Seriously? You're sending me home now? You know my powers are fading. I've been waiting, holding back, because anytime I use them could be the last time. I've been waiting for something just like this. A Kree-Skrull war fleet getting ready to crush Earth, Dad? Let me help, Franklin. This is how you help. We could use your powers to stop them, but the story would end immediately, and therefore we had to build this up. These children have suffered terribly. Yes, they've been pawns for a gambling casino's child trafficking service. Keeping them safe is our top priority. I need you to know you'll protect them, son, no matter what. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. I don't care about these kids. If anyone wants to stay, I can fly the kids out. I'm the better pilot anyway. The DMV thinks otherwise, Val, and until you take your driving test, we have to respect that. I would, and so would your mother. Dad, we're in outer space. That's got to be outside the jurisdiction. I mean, who'd even know? Well, obviously the mother. And, Susan would be pissed. Franklin's still angry with me when they leave. For a moment, I worry I'm being too inflexible. I shouldn't second-guess myself, but the boy's at such a difficult age, and he's dealing with so much. Yeah, like he's dealing with Krakoa trying to come after him and trying to recruit him to their cause of mutantdom and whatnot. And I almost tried to basically deny his mutant existence and whatnot. And we recently had an event comic that covered that storyline and just recently finished, but at the time we clearly didn't release it yet, causing confusion amongst readers in our tie-in issue. Wait. There'll always be a part of me that worries. Those little scraps are going to be okay, right? Frank and Val are looking after them. They're taking a wide path around the fleet. They'll be fine. It counts for being a father. Alright, let's see what's united the Kree-Skrulls after millennia of conflict. Now Revolton. And pointing them at Earth. Revolton, darling, way ahead of you, dear. Turning invisible always weirds me out. Yeah, try flying the ship without seeing the controls with your hands. While you slam up through high-speed alien army. Hold on tight, folks. Keep all belongings inside the coaster. Naturally, we're invisible to the radar, too, or the Kree-Skrull equivalent. Susan makes it seem effortless. She really is the strongest of us all, in so many ways. Yes, like how I was able to produce 2 children with her in bed. She was on top. I can see that smile of yours, Reed. I had no other way. Pull up alongside the flagship command deck, Ben. Done and done. And let's take a look in at who's behind this. Hey, it's what's his name? Yeah, what's his name? He's the cause of all this. Theodore Altman, Hulkling, one of Earth's heroes. His father was Kree, his mother was a Skrull. In some way, he's the natural choice to lead a hybrid army. But I can't say I was expecting him or his new allies. My liege, a word. Invisibility is one of the powers I wield as a Super Skrull. Yes, I am a Super Skrull. As such, I have the superpowers of the Skrull times 10. A secondary effect out of that power allows me to see what's hidden from sight. So, are saying we have company, Killert. Esteemed company, my Empyre. Let me show you, for what one may conceal, another may reveal. Behold, the Fantastic Four! Communication channels are open. Thanks, Killert. So, I'm guessing you guys have questions? I wonder the last I heard he was affiliated with the Avengers. Are they mixed up in this? Testing. And we cut to Iron Man and his currently newfound religious ideology, which will definitely not come back to bite anyone in the ass later in this issue alone. Testing. The cat sat on the mat. I am Iron Man. We're screwed. Tony Stark, personal mentor recording online. Tony! Sorry, Cap, just getting my thoughts in order. I see my armor to record mental impressions. Another backup copy of yourself, Stark. More like a black box, Thor. If this goes badly, I like people to know where we are doing here. And also why. Yes, and I also will explain this when I go ahead and somehow retcon this later down the road and explain that this is actually a copy version of myself in the event that I am killed somehow again and I have to find someone else to take my place. Until I'm resurrected 6 weeks later and then all of a sudden nothing happened. I want Earth to know about the garden. Millennia ago, Hala was home to 2 sentient species, the Kree, savage, violent cavemen, and the Kotari, a race of peaceful plant people. Plants are the devil! Also, I'm pretty sure Poison Ivy of DC would love to hear this. The Skrulls, technologically advanced even then, set up a contest to see who would make up the best use of their resources on a random moon, our moon. In the pocket atmosphere, the Skrulls created the blue area. The Kree built a vast empty city, but the Kotati grew a lush living garden. They were the clear winners, and the Kree slaughtered them in it, one of the greatest crimes of galactic history. But they didn't quite finish the job. Hulk? Her. No, her name is She-Hulk. Follow me, you'll need a weapon against the enemy. Hulk not need puny sword. Trust me, you'll need this. Follow. And then he talks, and then Tony cuts to talking to the celestial Messiah. Give me a sign, Messiah. Your worship. Is it your worship? I'm not quite sure what the formal title is. There is none, man of iron. To others, I may be the prophesied one, the celestial Messiah, but to the Avengers, I am simply Koi. Always, the Kree-Skrulls have united to destroy us, to burn this sacred space. But once again, in our time of need, our greatest allies have united to avenge our sorrow. When this day is done, there will be a place reserved for you here in the garden. Forever. Thank you, sir. That means a great deal. We'll do everything we can to earn it. So say we all. Jennifer? Yep. Jennifer is now back in full form. So that lasted for 6 weeks. So yeah, Jennifer is no longer in her pro-Hulk phase and is now being willed to be able to talk again. She explains it. It's me, Thor, really me. The resonance of the amber in this hammer, along with the Kotani meditation techniques, they're helping me focus, calming the rage inside but keeping the strength and power. Honestly, I feel more alive than I have in years. Well, good. Brace yourselves, everybody. Kree-Skrull Warfleet incoming. Visual contact in 3, 2, 1. Let's get ready for letdown! The Kotai survived and returned. They grew their garden anew to make the blue area green. But we can't have anything nice. Well, according to the world, that's actually true. We are not allowed to have anything nice. So if you hear a story about some hopeful thing for the future, expect 5 bad news to go ahead and immediately kill that hope. We are fucked. The Kree-Skrulls have united after millennia, but not to bring peace. They crossed the galaxy to destroy this beauty, to burn it into the ground. I'll be honest, with how my own life's been lately, I'm itching for something simple, and this is it. Space Invaders versus Avengers. Good guys versus bad guys. Yeah, definitely will not turn into a huge complex issue that will hopefully try to rip off a movie's secret twist, even though it's contradictory to everything we built up to. Because that would be stupid. Kree-Skrull Fleet, this is Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel. I may no longer to speak for Earth, but you all know I never speak lightly. Earth is an Avengers world. This garden is under our protection. You know what that means. This will be your only warning. And if I were me, you wouldn't even get that. So think very carefully about your next move. Tony? Something simple. Me and my big mind. Great Scott! What are you doing here? What are you doing here? It's almost as I didn't expect the Avengers who live on Earth to be defending the Earth and the Earth's areas. Wait. Reed Richards, everyone. The super genius. What are you doing, Reed? Is that Hulkling of the Young Avengers? Where you got him mixed up in, kid? We're all wondering the same thing, Tony. Not quite, Ben. Given a moment's thought, it's all fairly obvious. It's a chicken and egg scenario of sorts. Though I've never been a fan of that phrase since reptiles lay eggs. The eggs would, of course, have come first by millions of... Reed. Sorry, darling. Narrative thinking would dictate that it was Hulkling who united the Kree-Skrulls, the prince taking his throne, but actually the alliance came first, didn't it? I'm assuming the Super Skrulls and the pursuers, the rulers of the old regimes, made the first moves. But that can only go so far, or even in peacetime, the Kree-Skrulls have maintained a state of Cold War. To truly bring them together, you need a leader, one of whom both sides could pledge allegiance to, a figurehead. Hulklings responds saying, "That's pretty much it, Dr. Richards. I never wanted to be Emperor, but taking the job meant I could save lives. The Kree Civil War was in full swing, millions were dying every day, until I called a ceasefire from the Kree Imperium side. I made that a precondition. So I ended 2 wars in one day by holding a sword in the air. I mean, wouldn't you? And what of the Kotati's lives, boy? Your Armada comes to murder them all. They'll have a chance to surrender, but that guard is a threat to the well-being of the galaxy. Who on earth told you that? The Super Skrull and Tada. And yes, I know that sounds... But on this, I trust them completely. Ha! In your face, Avengers! Really? Are you that naive, kid? Dear God, do you not see what's happening here? You think they accepted you because you held a sword up? These are warrior races, kids. You have to be using it. This is a PR stunt, an easy target to cement their alliance, a blood sacrifice, and it's on your hands. No, Mr. Stark, that's not what this is. Reed, what's your take? I'm not sure, but it makes sense given what we know. But what do we know? What do we simply assume? Tony certainly seems absolute. I'm sure you screwed up, kid, but don't worry. The Avengers will save you. Just stay out of our way. Ghost Rider? Yes. Kid, you clearly don't understand. This is adult talk. Even though you've probably been around for a long, long time, but, you know, we're not going to bring that up because, shut up. We're the Avengers. We're the adults. Are you at the Quinjet's controls? Pedal to metal, Stark. Tony has faith. Do I? As long as we all get this freaking awesome Ghost Quinjet, nobody freak out. And then the Fantastic Four try to be peaceful in this, try to make peace with this idea. Teddy, you can still end this. We can work through the problem together. So you got suckered. It happens. We all make mistakes. The mistake is yours. Do not let them sway you, my liege. For all I've wronged you, I would never lie to you. I have always had your interests at heart. And I bet you even believe that, don't you? Stand out, Carrot. That's the only warning you'll get from me. Come on, kid. I'll let you say it's clobbering time. You really want to be a figurehead for these schmucks? Yes, let's go ahead and end this fragile alliance between the Kree and Skrull and let them get back to killing each other. The status quo must be retained. He thinks about this for a moment and decrees, No, I think I can do better. Super Skrull, Captain Glory, take battlefield command. Hold off the Avengers. Nope, but no enemy casualties. The rest of you, we make our stand here. Oh no, we're all staying here. Thank you very much. Staying here and talking through this like civilized adults. What? Illusion spell, Mrs. Storm Richards. Killert and Glory are already out of airlock. So that's how it is, huh? You like the taste of power? Hardly, Mr. Grimm, but you clearly won't listen to us, and we honestly don't have time to convince you. So I guess it's clobbering time. Wow, what a revolting development. Ah, shut up. So much for Reed's way. Now it's time for my strategy, starting with Ghost Rider thinning a hair a little, which definitely does not mean he's going to immensely torture them with psychological horrors. Ghost Quinjet, happens hot. Activate dual penance stare. Non-lethal takedown, almost better than they deserve. So many battles, so much wrath, so much sin. Could have been, I'm sorry. Almost. Clever. Nice try. That trick on a Kree super soldier G-modded to feel zero guilt in the field. Oh, yeah, I can feel zero guilt. So if I could kill 1 million people at one foul swoop, I will not feel guilty for the horrible deed I just committed. Captain Glory doesn't commit sins. And he immediately punches the Quinjet with his mighty powers. I only follow orders. We're hit. He's killed the engines. Without attempting to kill us. Interesting. Ghost Rider, stay at the controls. The rest of you, what are going outside? What? Whose voice is that? This is a restricted channel. My apologies. I took the liberty of hacking your communication implants, as I believe in the importance of a healthy dialogue. However, with great respect, I cannot allow you to further damage my ship. Colonel Danvers? Yep, and Black Panther decides to summon a gigantic robotic version of himself. Oh. Meanwhile, Carol Danvers goes ahead and starts the fight. Encos, thank you. Talk to me, Kellert. Tell me the why of this, and I will understand. We have both been rulers of our people. Oh, and what do you rule, Panther? What can any human rule? A small slice of a squabbling backwater? I held an interstellar empire in my hand, and still I let it go because I believe in a greater destiny yet. Hulk, I'm telepathing you a strategy while the Skrull are distracted. As the petal flies in the breeze, I hear you, swordsman. That move has another name on Earth. Fastball special. concise. Super Skrull, on guard! This distance from the fray, it suits me, Stark. Am I truly needed here more than out there? Our aim here is to end this fast with minimal loss of life. Tony's plan is our best hope for that. Still, the Avengers certainly require Mjolnir's might to aid them. We surely do, Thor. Swing for the fences, big guy. So be it. If this boy would play the king, 'tis a role the Thunder God has also learned of late. Let us see who wears the crown better. Let the storm strike. Let the hammer fly. And I certainly was not serving Galactus and being subordinate to him, while at the same time kicking his ass halfway across the moon and back. Wait. So the battle continues as Thor throws his mighty hammer, and what happens is kind of badass. So, and everyone's stunned when this moment happens. Thor's hammer comes crashing into the ship, and Hulkling goes ahead and raises his sword, and it collides with the hammer, stopping it. And he just says, "Great Scott." Cool. Cool beans. Activate phase 2. At a certain point, you gotta stop questioning how Thor hammers fly. You just know it will. Better than anything you could build. Uh-oh. Oh, which makes it a perfect delivery system for my latest on-the-spot invention. A remote viral package that will breach Kree-Skrull firewalls. Yeah, it turns out this was a secret virus trap. It's not my first rodeo with this particular clowns. I was at this point. I know their systems like I know Fresh Prince lyrics. Dated! And I can't hear them tonight to make the crowd go boom. In 3 seconds, every ship in the Kree-Skrull suffers a critical engine overload. They're alive, but maroon helpless. I make my own magic. Oh, Tony, always the big flashy pyrotechnic solution. The look at me answers. I wish I could be sure it was the right one. Thank you, Avengers. Thank you so very much. Yep, and we get to the twist. You have done a noble service today in the service of the Kotadian life itself, not the scary meat things that chatter and poison and devour, but the true life we that grow will not forget. For by delaying the fleet, you brought us the necessary time for the flowering, when all illusions fall away, when we rise in our splendor. All in our wrath, let the death blossom bloom. Even on the hushed soil, it magnifies our power and our will to take back the universe that was always ours. For I have come not to bring praise, but the sword of my vengeance upon you, to bring punishment for your crimes at last. We are the Avengers now, and we will be avenged. Yes, we have come up with a better reason to call ourselves the Avengers than the actual goddamn Avengers. Seriously, what are you people avenging? Oh my god, that thing on the hill, it's boosting Corey's control of the plant life. Those ships have stored food oxygen factories, vegetation carried in soil on soldiers' boots, and Corey's controlling it all. Tony, Steve, I didn't know. The Kree-Skrulls, I feel them. I can feel them dying. What have we done? Tony Stark committed a war crime for like the 800th time. What, Tony, what have I done? What have I done? I'll tell you what you did. You've court-martialed yourself later after this event's over, and you've doomed the human race. Great to go. And yeah, Reed Richards gets stabbed, and Ben is being devoured from the inside, and his body's breaking down, so yeah, that's kind of disgusting. Let all the animal worlds fall, and the Kotadi rise anew, master of the cosmos as they always should have been, for here we plant the seed of our Empyrean. On this planet, we begin our empire! Glory to the highest heavens! So yeah, that's the end of this issue. It's a good issue. It's just the twist derails the whole thing. You see, here's the thing. People were bringing this up and saying that Captain Marvel, the movie, did the twist and whatnot. And so far, this justifies to do the twist here with the Kotadi being the main villains. Yeah, except there's a difference between this twist and the Captain Marvel movie twist. When, you see, they didn't promote the twist. That's the thing. They promoted the Kree-Skrull War. They never said who was the good guy, who was the bad guy. They gave you the idea, and the allegory of propaganda and all of those, and indoctrination and all that. That makes sense. But when you got the movie, you had the Kree-Skrull fight. You had them fight. But in Empyre, it was for months and months and months. They were teasing, they were alluding, they were suggesting, they even promoted that it sounded like the Kree and Skrull Alliance were going to come to Earth, kick their ass, and this was going to be a huge war between the Avengers, Fantastic Four, and Earth's mightiest heroes against the Kree-Skrull dynasty, essentially. The new Empyre. So, yeah, like, advertisements were playing this up like it was going to be this big fight. And now they go with the Gotati. Now, on one hand, I can somewhat get why the Gotati finally lost their mind because of the backstory we were given. But at the same time, you're wondering, wait, why? But the Gotati were suddenly peaceful and now they're suddenly the villains? Even though there was no indication they were going to be villains, no promotion to the fact that they were villains. And this is the first issue. Couldn't the issues been, maybe 2 or 3 issues of the Kree-Skrull versus the Avengers and Fantastic Four, then do the big twist? Because at least we would have gotten the fight. Because, like I said, you see the sword that Hulkling has go ahead and carving into what looks to be a mixture of Wakanda and Thor's throne and whatnot. So you're like, wait, so how does this work? Yeah, this twist kind of breaks the advertisement and makes it false advertising. Reminds me of Halo 5 Guardians, in all honesty. But yeah, the artwork is pretty freaking awesome, but it's the twist that really puts this event in jeopardy for a lot of people, because you were promised the Kree and Skrull were going to join forces and fight the Avengers and Fantastic Four in Mortal Kombat, and there's established continuity where you could justify why they would do this. But now, we gotta make the Kotai the villains because we don't actually establish a permanent reason. We're just alluded to the idea that they're pissed off because of what happened in the past, but they never really say it, and the Kotai never came out like this. I mean, yeah, and now Tony Stark has to wear the guilt for probably 8 weeks about the fact that he just blindly followed a religious ideology that just basically happened, and now he's going to be doomed. And he's doomed the human race for, the 80,000th time? There's been so many times Tony just screwed up and has done something that leads into horrendous disasters. It's honestly a miracle. I am surprised he has not been tried for war crimes. If they ever do the Illuminati in the MCU, it's going to be weird about Tony Stark, because when you think of horrible disaster caused by somebody that is a fan of everything, Tony Stark's clearly the culprit. But yeah, so this was Empyre #1. It was a good issue. I did love the artwork. There were some times it got a little weird compared to R.B. Sylvia and Pepe Larraz. But yeah, this was a solid issue. But like I said, it's the twist that's really a mixed bag for people, because you were told this was going to be the plot, but now you're getting a whole different plot out of nowhere, and now you don't know what to think. So yeah, we're no longer doing the Kree-Skrull War against humanity. No. We're going to do the Marvel version of The Happening. So yeah, at least now that would make more sense to the actual Happening movie, where the trees just suddenly out of nowhere make people kill themselves. Whereas in this one, you could easily do it with the Kotati, and I'm surprised I have to use that logic. Plus, this is a comic book universe, so the insanity is kind of guaranteed. So yeah, that was issue 1 of Empyre. I'm looking forward to talking about this series, hopefully, without any delays. We'll see. But those were my thoughts on Empyre issue #1 by Marvel Comics, by Al Ellering and Dan Slott, with art by Valdor City. I'm pretty sure I'm butchering these names. And colored by Marty Garcia. This was Neo Yadi and Timothy. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate to 2 for more. And the glory days of the Empyre are coming.